Hello YouTube land, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about my LST2. As you can see, it is back together, all in one piece. First, you know, it makes sense, Rodney. Anyway, yes, so the last time you was here, well, the last time you saw this, it was in bits, and let's just have a quick recap, shall we?
Previously on 21RC.
I've resprayed the drive shafts in with galvanising spray that I just got from Screwfix. It was a couple of quid. They were rusty and kind of tatty looking, covered in dirt. So I thought I'd take them out, respray them, and go from there really. But LST transmission has been removed. Yes, removed from the chassis. It's quite grimy under there. Lots of bits of going around. I mean, check out this slipper pad. I think that needs a nice rub down, don't you think? As well as that one. They will just want a good keying back up again. Take it back to the white. These could probably do with rub down on a surface table or something. Bit of wet and dry. My single speed hub that I made. Yeah, I made this. The centre bit is I made it to be an interference fit, so I had to warm up the aluminium bit that I made, and then I had to tap the central hub into that, so there's no sloppiness. That will just, so that, you know, there's no sloppiness, so that's not just going to knock up against that and wear it out. That is full drive on there, so that's good. Might clean that up a bit though, because it looks a bit tarnished with dirt and heat, so I'll probably do that. Despite appearances, there is plenty of life left in this spur gear, so I shall leave that like that. Right, well, that spur gear goes into this little notch here, so I've undone those screws already. As you can see, I dremeled that away because that is clearance for the spur gear, so I might do something a bit more fantastic-y. You've never seen this bit before. This is the riser tray that I made up for the battery. Riser plate, sorry, I made up for the battery tray because I couldn't mount it directly to the chassis because it was in the way of stuff, so I had to make up this thing here. Obviously I made a little thing for the receiver wire, and it's got slots in here which are suitable for the battery strap, so let's give a bit more clearance on this battery tray just to stop any more of that spur gear erosion. Mill the battery tray down in here. Sorry about the mess. That was actually when I was doing a really small mitre on my skirting board, so I'll give this a quick clean down and I'll get that in the vise. Okay, right, well, I've not used this for so long and I didn't really have the a handle on it anyway of how to use it. Well, I had a rough idea. Obviously I can program FANUC G-code, but this is operating system, it's a bit weird. I can't find the jog mode. There is a jog mode on here, but I'm blown if I can remember, so is that going to work? Yes. Anyway, right, well, so I milled that bit out. So earlier on, I mentioned about giving these a quick dress up, the old slipper pad washers. Now, what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do actually, is just show you a quick way to do that. If you don't know, you want some wet and dry. You don't need a massive bit. A magnet is also quite handy as well. Now, I haven't got my camera set up on my tripod right now, so I'm going to show you, we're going to go to ground level, ground zero. Let's just dump that there, get the magnet, get a slipper washer, there you go, look, stick the magnet on the washer, and just really lightly just do a figure of 8. Has to be a figure of 8, because what the figure of 8 does is just distribute the weight of your fingers in every direction all over the washer, because if you just rub it back and forth, you'll find that just the front and the back, or one side of the washer, will be dressed out, so you'll have a wonky washer. So a figure of 8. As you can see, it's taken all the glazing off, all the heat glaze. So you just want to do that to the other side and the other slipper washer. Right, I've been rubbing this one. This is the other washer. I've done the first one, but this one, I don't know if you can see it in the light actually, got a bit of a pattern on there. So it's got 3 high spots, which means the washer is basically domed in on itself. If I was to attempt the other side, which I have actually touched on the other side, you will see that it's the outside that's been dressed first, and this side it's the inside that's been dressed first, but obviously in leaving 3 spots. So that needs dressing out, so it's super flat, and you'll have a better working slipper clutch. So having done the slipper washers there, that's them. As you can see, they've had all the tarnishing and the heat scorching taken off of them, and I now know that they're all flat. Right, so we've got the slipper pads. Slipper pads are the next thing. As you can see, there's some tarnishing on there as well, and that needs to come off. And what I like to do, this is obviously by no means the definitive way or anything like that, but as I learned in the 90s when I had my first car with a slipper clutch, which was a double X, get a little knife. This is a Swan Morton, or if you're in America you probably have an X-Acto knife or something, maybe like without the nasally noise or anything like that, but just start scraping. Just start scraping. Make sure the blade is actually flat on the face of the pad. That'd be an idea, good start. Just start scraping gently at first, just to find your footing, so you know that it's flat. Blade on this has probably seen better days anyway, and this stuff does actually wear out the blade. As you can see, the tarnishing is starting to come off. Obviously, if you're a bit of a butterfingers, it's possibly not the best idea to use a super sharp knife. As you can see, what I've just done there is I've just trimmed that high point off. And as you can see, that's come up. You're going to do that both sides. Obviously, I've got the other side to do, but I will show you the other 2 pads that are in the LST. Oh, that side. That side, I have actually done that, but that must have got really hot at some point, and that's just well in there. But I have scraped all the mank off, so those 2 are done. And so the next mission is to get these. It's probably often overlooked, and that's to get these. Get out of the way. Get these other steering posts out of the back of the chassis. Obviously, this is at the back end. These are often overlooked. As you can see, this one is rusty as you like. Actually, you could get these super duper pliers on. As you can see, this is actually a bit of a... That's not really wanting to budge at all, is it? I had that soaking overnight as well, and I haven't actually I haven't tested it to see if it's going to move for the camera. So this is live. So these are real world troubles. I don't think that's actually moving at all in the plastic. It's not, as we can see. All I'm doing is scraping up the OD of the thing. I mentioned earlier on in the video that The carbon had worn where this has been sitting and knocking around for quite some time. What I've done here is I've got some plastic padding super steel. It comes in 2 tubes and you mix it together like a 50-50 mix, and I've just splurged a couple of blobs on there just to bring the carbon back up to height, because as you remember earlier, it was looking a bit thin. So I'm just going to dress that down now so this sits on, so that'll be a better fit. Okay, right, well I might be here for some time, so you come back a bit later and see how I get on. That didn't actually take as long as I first thought, so there we go. As you can see, I've rubbed the high spots down. There's the bracket. Now that actually sits on there. Very nice. And you can see that there is now no slop. So that's actually a better fit than it was originally, which is really good. Quite pleased with that. So yes, it's all back together. I've driven it since and it's great. I've also done a new shell as well. So there we have that. There we go, that is the Lead Finger Racing Truggy body shell. I believe it's for the Agama. See the Agama Truggy. But it fits nicely onto the LST2 chassis. As you can see, it's not a bad length. It's a little, comes up a little shy at the rear there, but by and large, fits quite nicely on there. And yeah, as you can see, I just painted it one colour, a nice metallic pink, so you can see it in the undergrowth. That's right. So yes, Lead Finger Racing, available from these chaps here at RPRC Distribution. They're quite handy for that, the old Lead Finger Racing bodies. Anyway, right, so let's get down to what I've eventually done to the LST, shall we? Right, so first thing we're going to talk about today is this upper chassis plate here. In the previous video, you may remember I said I was going to make something a bit beefier. Well, that hasn't actually happened. That hasn't come to fruition because I'm busy doing other stuff. So that is just a standard Losi part that I managed to source from the nether regions of the universe. And the other thing, as you can see from this shot, is, as you may remember from the previous video, I did say I was going to spray the clutch basket with the what's it called? The zinc galvanizing spray. That's right. Well, as you can see, I have done that, and that is held up pretty well. I've been out for a couple of times, giving us a bit of a bash, and nothing has flaked off yet. So that's always a good thing. And again, as per previous video, I did mention that I was going to spray these outdrive cups on either end of the transmission. As you can see, that has been done, and I would like to say that so far, so good. The galvanizing spray has adhered to the steel quite well, and there's nothing flaking off. So that's quite nice to know. And I do have to mention this hub, mostly because it looks nice. You'll notice that it has been polished, because it was all tarnished all around over here with dirt and heat, etc. That has been rubbed down with Solvol to Sol, which is a metal polish that we have over here in England or in the UK, and it's come up really nice. It does actually look like a quality part. And just in case any of you guys out there are wondering, this green spring, that actually is a tooling spring that you could probably get from somewhere like Cromwell Tools, something like that. That is a cut down version. I think they're usually about 1 inch long, something like that. And I got one and I trimmed it down because I was lacking a slipper cut spring. So they're actually quite tough. And talking of the galvanizing spray, a couple of you online have shown interest as to its longevity. So here we are. This is a couple of bashes in, and the galvanizing spray has held up really well on these drive shafts, which you may remember in the previous video I did the drive shafts front and rear. Well, here we are. It is holding up really well. There are no chips on the diff cups as far as I can see, and the drive shafts are holding up nicely. I have been through the stones and through the sand and through a few other things, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that actually. For the sake of a £5 for a tin of paint from Screwfix, it's come up really well, and I'm quite pleased with it. So that's pretty much that with the LST. I hope it's given you a couple of ideas as to finish and a couple of other odds and ends. I'm really pleased with the galvanising spray and the body shell, which was a bit of a gamble. I wasn't entirely sure whether it would fit, but it does once you drill the hole big enough. So there we go, that is that. It's a bit of a weird looking thing, I must admit, but it handles pretty well and it goes like the calipers, so it's still a bit of a giggle to drive all these years on. It just proves that there's life in the old dog yet. Anyway, also I'd like you to tell me what you think of the bed sheet that's just hanging behind me. What do you think of it? Is it decent enough as a backdrop? I'm obviously sat here at a table as well, so now I look like a newsreader rather than standing up by my bench, which is over there somewhere. So let me know what you think of that. Perhaps I could like superimpose stuff up on here, up on there, like the old subscribe thing or the bell, or you know, all that sort of caper. Anyway, let me know. Let me know about your LSTs. Let me know what you think about my LST and the backdrop, of course. Right, hopefully see you again very soon. Ciao for now.